welcome to one shot number 19 of the monthly Dive Into the Longbox podcast. Ajax is joining me here. I'm Gabe. How are y'all doing? How are you doing, Ajax? You ready to talk about some battle chasers? You ready to chase some battles?
I'm very excited to get into this.
If you are a fan of things like World of Warcraft or Dungeons and Dragons or anything night-themed, this is right up your alley. And I gotta say, while I do play I do play World of Warcraft. I want to play D&D. I was never like a knights guy, you know? I don't know why. Were you growing up like into like knights and like armor and all that stuff?
I can't really say that I was.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, man. I mean, growing up it was like all wrestling, but like I was never like into like knights and stuff. I was into like samurais and ninjas. That was cool to me.
Yeah.
But like knights never did it for me. So I was like, I think Battle Chasers was never really on my radar because of that. The whole concept of that is that like knight concept. But I am kicking myself now because after reading this issue, I should have read this a lot sooner. This is by Joe Madureira, also known as Joe Mad, who worked on this. Was he also the? He was pencils and story and additional inks on this. So yeah, this is a story of how would you describe this story?
How would I describe it?
A brief analysis before we dive into it. What would you describe this as? Like an adventure story, I would say.
It is very much a high fantasy adventure story.
Mm-hmm. You have to be into high fantasy.
Yeah, revolving around a young protagonist trying to find out if her dad is dead or not, and her dad somehow is like the central figure of like I would say like almost restoring balance in like her like where she's from.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Well, in this number one issue, so we are both reading the anthology edition. I'm reading the physical one. Ajax is reading the digital version of the anthology. Mm-hmm. But if you guys do not have the physical copies, and if you don't know how to ride the high seas, you can read Battle Chasers number 1 for free on Image's website, which will be linked below in the description. So if you want to read Battle Chasers number 1, you can on your phone, tablet, computer, completely legally on Image's website. They put up, I believe, almost all of their number ones on their website for you to read. So things like Spawn.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, everything. Spawn, Savage Dragon. What I am curious about, though, is Wildcats on there. Because I know it started as an Image book, but now it's owned by DC.
Yeah.
So it's like, are they able to? I'm not too sure about that.
Because they're a DC book, I'm gonna assume no.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, Battle Pope is on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, everything that like if you name a book, it's on here. Crossover is on here. Deadly Class is on here, number 1. Yeah, literally everything that was. Man, this is like Geiger's on here too. Hack and Slash is on here. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on here. Hit Girl. So, Invincible number 1. If you guys want to read Invincible number 1, Kick-Ass number 1. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Kick-Ass was an Image book?
It was.
Oh, wow. I don't remember it being an Image book. Why do I remember it being printed under that weird Marvel label?
Oh, Icon?
Yeah. Or was that just a trade paperback that was printed on that? Because I have the trade paperback that has that.
It might have been the trade paper.
Might have just been.
Yeah, it might have been that.
I'm just quickly going through here. Cause yeah, Battle Chasers is right at the top of the list. Witchblade number 1's on here. No Wildstorm though. I mean, no Wildstorm. No Wildcats.
Right.
But yeah, Witchblade is on here. So there is some Top Cow stuff on this. Is Darkness on here? No, it's not. Shockingly, actually.
Darkness is not on. Wow. Okay.
No. And not even the original Cyberforce number 1. It's the reprint of Cyberforce from Top Cow's 20th anniversary.
Right.
Odd choices, but it's got some heavy hitters on there. When we review Spawn next month, it also is on here, so you guys can read that as well. But for today, we will be looking, like I said, at Battle Chasers number 1. So we start off this story, and it's a lot of like dark imagery. There's a lot of we see like 2 like blades coming down, and we're being told that there's a dream happening, and it's always the same dream. There's robed figures, an open grave, a condemned man, mystic armor, searing heat. It's always the same, except the screams. They get louder every time. Very spooky. And there's like, you see like it looks like a mask being put onto a face that's like burning the face here. but whoever it's being put onto. And at this point, we see this very old man with a beautiful ponytail shooting up out of bed. And he's like, that's weird. He's like, every time I've had the dream before, the others, their faces were clear, but, like, I couldn't see this one. This one was a little blurry. And then he asks around. He calls out for someone. I think it's Calibretto. Is that how you pronounce it?
Calibretto, yeah.
Calibretto. He calls out for him, but he doesn't hear him. And then we cut to the woods here, and we see this child running through the woods, this young girl running. She's huffing and puffing. And as she's running through, she is running at, like, full speed. This is, like, I love that the image here of her running. You see, like, the speed lines. You really get to see, like, it really encapsulates how fast she's going. And she turns around, and you see this giant werewolf creature behind her, growling in her face. And she's carrying this box in her hand, and you see this creature, like, kind of grabs her by the hood and throws her. And she's like, you won't have this box. I'm not going to give it to you. And after he throws her into the trees, like, all right, then run. And when he says that, there's, like, 4 of these werewolf creatures surrounding her. And they all have, like, knives in their hands. Horrifying, dude. So she starts taking off. They give her a little bit of a running start. She takes off. She runs into this building, and there's a really cool 3-panel image here of this young girl, and she's hiding in this building from these creatures, and you see her under a window, and right above her you see, like, the mouth of the werewolf, and the next image is its head turned, looking into the window with its eyes glowing, and then you see it leaving. And she kind of takes a gasp, and she looks out the window, and boom, it comes crashing through. It sees her. And this is a great little callback here to, like, Little Red Riding Hood. And it says, what big eyes you have. And I'm like, isn't that what the wolf said to her when he was dressed as the grandmother?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, am I going crazy? I was like, that's a little shout out there to Little Red Riding Hood. And she, as the thing comes through, she looks to her side, and there's this weapon next to her. She takes this, and she's like, don't make me hurt you. And she starts to pick it up, and she goes, oof. Wish I was a little bit stronger. She can't really pick it up too well. And as she's picking it up, if I'm correct, this is it splitting, right? Did he split it, or is it splitting from her trying to pick it up? I couldn't tell.
I think it was splitting before she picked it up.
Okay. Because it says snapped. So I'm like, oh, did it just, like, snap? Or did he, like, hit it and break it so she couldn't use it? Because then he kind of growls over her, and he says, listen, you're a fighter to the bitter end, just like your father, except you put up more of a fight. And she hits this creature with this piece of wood, stabs him in the neck, and screams, he's not dead. Talking about her dad here. And he screams at the other werewolves. He's like, get that box and leave her to me. And as she's running, she runs into something, and the box goes flying out of her hand. And there's this giant creature in robes and, like, a face mask. And he's holding the box in his hand, and she's trying to talk with it. She's trying to, like, beg with this creature, saying, like, give me the box back. I need that. You don't understand, like, why this is so important. Give it back to me. And then as she's saying that, he puts his hand up to fire, and he shoots 3 little cannonballs out of his hand, and fucking just puts 3 holes in one of these werewolves behind her. Completely lays it out. And she asks it, who are you? And as she's asking him that, 3 arrows get shot into its back by another one of the wolves. And this dude has a gun that comes out of his shoulder with a laser sight and shoots out fire and tries to burn one of the werewolves. And the werewolf starts talking a little smack here. And he says, like, oh, nice trick, but I'm not impressed by that. So as he's jumping off, this giant robot cyborg creature that we're seeing here grabs the wolf by the face and just slams it into the ground and just starts pummeling it. And as that's happening, his hand goes up in the air and lightning strikes like Thor, the old classic Krakoom that Thor always coincides with his hammer being raised up. At least that's what I associated it with. And as he gets struck with this lightning here, you see it just, like, flow through his body. And he's, like, on the ground. He looks hurt. He's holding out his hand, and, like, all of the garbs are burning off of him. And we finally see what this thing is. It's this giant, Iron Giant style, like, medieval robot, to say the least. It's got the cool, like, knight face mask. I don't know if you noticed that on the mouth, like the grill he's got on. It looks really cool. And he tells her to stay back because she's trying to help him out. But he's like, no, stay back. And he tells her to get behind him. And he lets out this, like, gas, it looks like. I don't know if he's, like, getting up or something, like, releasing, like, energy from himself. But as he's doing that, one of the wolves jumps at him, and he's like, oh, let's get him. He's crippled by the lightning. We take advantage of this. It's a functional war golem, they call him. So it's a war golem. And as he jumps up, the creature gets up and strikes it down with lightning, seemingly killing this thing. I mean, when you get struck with lightning that bad, you're dead, to say the least. And she asks him right there, she's like, you didn't get hit by that lightning. You, like, absorbed it when it touched you, didn't you? And he tells her, like, he's kind of, like, malfunctioning from the lightning. He has a lot of, like, he's making a lot of, like, weird, like, droid noises in between his speech. And he tells her, like, we have to take cover. Like, I'm not going to survive much longer. But he can't even get the words out because right as he says, I can't survive much, we cut to a new location. And it's called Vandalheim. Vandalheim?
Vandalheim, yeah.
Yeah, a haven for rogues, murderers, and worse. And it says, at its black heart lies the Death's Door Saloon. Evil makes its home here, alongside the broken and the fallen from grace. And we see our other protagonist, our dark and brooding individual, sitting at the bar with 5 empty bottles of beer at the saloon as two shadowy figures stand in front of him. And boom, we got some boobies out of nowhere.
Garrison.
Yeah. We find out one of these heroines here that have walked into the saloon is Monica here, Red Monica. She is calling out to Garrison. Garrison is our dark and brooding protagonist here at this table. And as she says his name, he just tells her, Monica, go away. And he, like, hiccups because he's drunk. And, well, she goes, it's nice to see that you still haven't lost that irresistible charm of yours, being sarcastic with him. And she goes, well, that's considering you lost everything else, which I guess we'll have to wait and see what everything else was. But then she tells him that she has an offer for him. Basically, an offer he can't refuse. It's a chance to prove that he hasn't lost his edge yet. He's still edging, which people are doing while reading this book. Because, trust me, the images of her just get crazier as the issues go on when I was flipping through this. She tells him about a job that she has lined up. And she says that they've been hired to basically kidnap a prisoner from a place called Skyhold, which is a very famous prison that's holding terrorists, and one of the most famous terrorists of all time, Ryan Del Soya, is one of the ones. And
that's like the Alcatraz of the Battle Chasers universe.
Basically, yeah. And she has, like, a schematic of, like, all of the blueprints of everything it has. Not only that, but also, like, the security codes, like where the security, like, droids, I guess they're called sentry shifts. I'm guessing those are like guns. I don't know. Like, I was trying to figure it out. I'm not sure. But she says they'll even have access to air support to, like, break into this place, and, like, this is all his if he wants to take this job and prove himself, show that he's not a washed up nobody anymore. So she asks him, like, what do you say? And he literally just says Skyhold and then laughs in her face, basically saying, are you an idiot? Like, do you think you're gonna break into Skyhold and live after this? And she has, like, two, like, simps behind her and that are, like, trying to protect her when he's laughing at her. They, like, pull out their weapons. Yeah, and she's like, relax, boys, like, it's okay, he's just drunk, leave him be. And she goes, there's no point in busting up a drunken has-been. And he goes, sticks and stones, and he starts chugging a beer, and she slaps it out of his hand, and she calls him pathetic. And she goes, is this really, like, what you've become? Like, you used to be a hero, and this is what you're doing now? Getting drunk in a bar? And she goes, you know what, if this is what your life has become, and she slams a knife into the table, she goes, just end it then. She basically just says, kill yourself. If you're so depressed and down on your luck, just end it. There's no reason to live. And she goes, and when you do that, Garrison, go to hell. I was like, oh? Am I in love? He was
very nice to know that Monica was a early internet user.
Yeah.
Very
Garrison. Edgy. Garrison was like scared but a little turned on.
A little bit. He had a half chub for sure.
And after she tells him to go to hell, he says to himself in his head, he goes, I'm already there. Now we cut back here to our young woman from earlier on. She is trying to crack open this box she has. And everything she's doing just doesn't work. She can't get this box open. And she goes, you know what? I know someone. Off screen, we hear the robot here talking to her, and he says, hey, I know someone that can help out with this. His name is Nolan. He may be able to get into this box for you. And then he tells her right there, hey, don't be afraid. My name is Calibretto. And you're like, oh, this is who that guy was looking for earlier. And that old guy is Nolan. So that's how they're connected. And he basically asks her, hey, what's your name? And like, you could be safe with me. This is my name. What's yours? I want to help you. And we find out her name is Gully. And she goes, I'm the daughter of Aramis. And of course he's like, oh, Aramis? I see. Okay. So you could tell whoever Aramis was, he was a very high-profile, high-respected fighter when he was around. And she basically thanks him for saving her. And she goes, what are you doing in, like, the woods anyway? And he just goes, planting. He's like, what? And he basically explains about this plant he was putting in, how it can only be planted at night. And basically, it says the mineral-rich soil near Greenock is vital to their growth. So basically, it's it could keep life going, I guess, is what I got from that. He goes, and I hope to revive this nearly extinct flower. So he is trying to do good when he was out there, and he just happened to stumble across her getting attacked by these creatures. And as he's saying that, she like looks at him funny, and she gives him a hug. And he just asks her, like, are you crying right now? And we get the backstory here. This backstory is actually what happens. You probably noticed this. What happened in the prelude.
Yeah.
It describes how she has this... She's confused because she has this nanny that watches her, and these trackers showed up, and what they were doing is they were hired to find her father. But she soon found out these weren't trackers. They were those, like, werewolf monsters in disguise, and they started transforming in front of her, and they killed not only the royal guard that was in charge of protecting her and her nanny, they also killed the nanny right in front of her, and all she could do was run while they burned down her house. And as she was on the run, it brought us to the beginning of this issue. So that's basically what happened in the prelude in a nutshell. This caught you up to date. And it's cool because those panels it shows are the actual panels from the prelude, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
And she just keeps asking herself, like, why is this happening? Like, why? And she goes, what is so important about this box that, like, they're trying to kill me over it and kill you over it? What is so important about this? And we see the werewolf creature kind of, he's hurt. He's struggling right now. He's had better days. He's in the woods. He's, like, slowly inching back, holding his ribs. And he's scared, and he's stumbling over his words, calling for his master. He explains to him that, like, yeah, I didn't get the box, and I'm the only guy alive. So I can't get that done for you, boss. I need more people. Do you mind giving me some more people? Oh, also, there was a giant robot there that we weren't planning for. Can I have some weapons to kill that thing? And he says, yeah, sure, you can take what you need, but just know, if you ever do this again, you're not going to fail me. Like, he basically threatens him. You're going to kill me. You're not going to fail me again. This is the last time this is going to happen. So make sure the next time you're out there, you make it count. And then we cut back here to Nolan, who is, from the beginning of the book here, he is, like, meditating, looking over this book. And we find out he's looking, I love this. He goes, all these spells and not a damn one to cure insomnia. He's looking through all these spells, and as he's looking through, he found, like, a map on there, and the map starts burning, like, in his hand. It starts setting on fire. And as he's looking around, as this is setting on fire, he turns around when the door opens, and we see Calibretto with Gully here. And he calls for Nolan, and he's like, dude, where the fuck have you been? He goes, I've been freezing my ass off. And he's like, Nolan, she needs your help, dude. Like, this little girl, she needs help. And he's like, all right, well, go get the blankets, and we'll get her all situated, and we'll try to see what's going on. And they sit with her, and they basically give him the rundown of what's going on. And he goes, listen, Gully, like, Calibretto told me everything. I'm sorry about your dad. And, like, your dad was a great man. We all respected him when he was around. And she basically mutters to herself, he's still alive. She keeps telling herself he's alive. I guess we'll find out soon enough. And he tells her, like, hey, I'm sorry. You might be right. He might be alive, buddy. He goes, but yeah, let me help you with this box real quick. Click, and he just opens it with magic. And she's like, what the fuck? How did you open that? And he's like, well, I wouldn't be a good wizard if I wasn't able to open up a box. Like, that's like Wizard 101.
It's a fair point.
Like, they learned that shit on Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, and after he opens the box, they're looking in and they're taken aback by what's in this box. And it's giant gauntlets. And you can see Nolan looking real intrigued. And he's like, those are Aramis's gauntlets. And then he just says to himself, like, what have you done? Like, why did you put your gauntlets in this box? They must be important. These motherfuckers are floating and they're glowing. These must be some, like, high-level gauntlets. These are, like, level 60 gauntlets, and she's, like, a level 2. Like, these are important. And that is how issue 1 ends, actually. It ends with that cliffhanger of what the hell are these gauntlets? What's going to happen with Garrison? Are these creatures going to get Gully? This book in 1 issue made me want to read this entire thing in 1 sitting, but I had to hold myself back.
So, funny enough, we were talking before we went on the pod. When you read the anthology, it's not broken up. So you can't actually tell, like, is issue 1 over? Because it doesn't transition into, like, oh, well, here's the cover for issue 2.
Exactly, yeah.
It just continues the story.
It just keeps going. Which is, like,
yeah.
If you're buying just this and you don't even know about that, I guess that's good because it just looks like an ongoing story that's just never ending. But what intrigued me too is that, like, there is a break at some point, because at one point in this, I was flipping through just for fun because I know there's like an art page and stuff. This includes like a mini stories as well that were in here, not just like the main stories. But those are broken up, and like the art style is like completely different with them. So like one of them it doesn't break off, but it looks like the coloring completely changed. It's like a completely different. Let me see if I can show you here. Like the coloring and stuff got very like dark.
Yeah.
And as you can see from here to there, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
But then what really caught my attention is that after that, I just saw that and I just like skipped right to like the art page to see because I didn't want to get spoiled by anything. But what caught my attention was that there was a break in this, and what you get is like a manga. There's like a manga story in here that's like straight up like manga art. I'm looking, I'm like, is this also done by Joe Mad? I don't know. I think it is, because like the hair looks just like how he does hair, but he does like generic anime hair, but it doesn't look like Joe Mad. It's confusing.
Yeah.
But it's like
it looks really good though.
It's a full-fledged manga, which I think is cool. Also, for all you fans out there, we get a changing picture of Red Monica too on the black and white pages. So, yeah. He goes kind of crazy with Monica in the sketches. I'm not gonna lie.
He does.
He goes kind of crazy with these images, dude. Like, her chest is already huge in this. It was supposed to be bigger. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Of course.
It was supposed to be bigger. Like, it's nuts. And I kind of marked out too, because like this cover here, so they have like a cover gallery, and this cover here is actually like not expensive, but it's more expensive than getting the regular cover of number 1, and it's where is it? It's this Red Monica cover where she has the butt cheek tattoo of the Battle Chasers logo.
Right.
This is actually a kind of like expensive book to buy. It's like almost a $20 issue for that variant.
Yeah.
Which kind of blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, people really love that variant cover. I mean, come on now. They also added this too, which I actually just bought the Cliffhanger art book. And this is on the cover of the art book, but they took off all the J. Scott Campbell stuff and just put her. So, which I thought was pretty cool, from Wizard Magazine. I was very happy that they included that little pin up there. They also had kind of like a Marvel like masterpiece style art card on this. Did you see that?
I must have missed that.
Yeah, like look, it looks like the old like Marvel Masterpiece cards of Red Monica. I mean, this is fucking crazy, but
yeah, that's insane.
But it has like that painted style, like those art cards.
It does. It looks really good too.
Yeah, it looks really good. So, Battle Chasers #1, man. What did you think? What was your take on Battle Chasers #1? Was it worth all the hype that we've been expecting from this?
I think it's the best thing that we've read on the pod this year.
I would say so. Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. I think it definitely set it up in a way where I want to read everything like right now, without question.
So I will say, first issue and the prelude, kind of slow, which I don't want people to be confused. Like, just because I'm saying it's kind of slow doesn't mean that I don't think it's good. It's still good. I'm just saying it builds up slowly. But once you get past the first issue, it really just takes off running.
Oh, probably gonna read this tomorrow. I'm gonna be honest.
Because I ended up reading 3 issues because I was like, how long is issue 1? Because like there was no breakup, right? In the anthology, I was like, how long is issue 1? So I just ended up reading like the first like 3 issues.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be. So tomorrow I gotta go to the comic shop. I gotta get a top loader for my Jim Lee signature. But after I get home, brother, from Batman Day, I might be reading some Battle Chasers.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be reading some Battle Chasers tomorrow too.
When I was flipping through like for fun, I was like, I saw some pages like this, and I was like, hey, fucking yo, like he's not even hiding it at this point, bro. He's just it's crazy, man. He had free reign to just draw whatever. I mean, I don't blame him. If you can draw it, do it.
It's like, you guys want to see something really sick?
Watch this.
This was for my sickos out there.
It's like that Usher meme where he's like, watch this, watch this,
watch this. Ooh. Ah.
And when this releases, it'll be a little bit close. Take a shot. It'll be a little bit closer to the date. But we will be at Rhode Island Comic Con all weekend long. In the beginning, the first weekend of November 1st to the 3rd, we'll be there the 2nd and 3rd, buying up comics, taking pictures with celebrities, buying some toys, having a good time. Definitely see us there if you're there. Look out for that. That'll be a lot of fun. Me and Justine will be there, being nerds, having a good time, maybe cosplaying, who knows. It's been a little while since I cosplayed. I'm like, maybe I should come out of retirement, you know? Last time I cosplayed, I was skinny. I am not anymore. So, but yes, Battle Chasers #1. If you want to read it, in the description below. We hope you guys enjoyed this one shot with us, and we will see you on issue number 20, where we will be talking about Halloween themed heroes, and then on the next one shot, we'll be talking about Spawn #1. So definitely look out for that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. A tall candle to reach. I don't even think that's a phrase. With Battle Chasers.
It is now.
You got to try to match up the Battle Chasers #1. So maybe Spawn will do it. Spawn's iconic, so I guess we'll see. We'll see if the hype's worth it when it came out. But we'll see you guys then. Take care and stay safe.